All right, guys, game four's total is set at 219. Now, the total has hit the under in 7 of Milwaukee's last 10 games. It's gone under in 4 of Atlanta's last 5 home games against Milwaukee. Plus, we're already talking about it. We got Trae Young dealing with an injury. Bogdan still dealing with his knee. Giannis probable with that calf. I mean, Nick, do you have to take the under here?
I think you do. I mean, the number was at 221 last night, and now it's actually down to 218 and a half on the DK Sportsbook. So it continues to fall. At some point, obviously, you'd have to consider going over, but I'm kind of on the opposite side of Ryan here, right? Like I said, I think Trae Young is going to play, but I worry about how effective he's going to be. I mean, it was very clear that he was favoring that ankle, when he checked back into the game around the 9-minute mark in game 3. And yes, he does have two full days, to get it where it needs to be. But if he's not carrying this offense, they just have trouble scoring. I mean, they were under 100 points in game 2. They certainly didn't pull their weight in terms of hitting the over in game 3. I think Milwaukee, scores enough points where you'd feel good about going over, but I think this could end up looking a lot like game 2, which was a 125 to 91 game. And, if the Hawks don't have that engine of their offense, and again, we keep harping on Bogdanovich being hurt. With those two guys banged up, the options kind of thin out pretty quickly.
Yeah, Ryan, where do you sit on this one?
Nick mentioned it. It keeps going down. I took the over because it got to 219. The role players is what I'm looking at also from game 3. Drew Holiday shot 2 for 11. Red Velvet shot 4 for 11. And Bogdanovich chucked up 16 shots, only made 3 of them. I think that the narrative is that Giannis, Middleton, and Trae all went bonkers and had great games, but the rest of the crew didn't do much. I don't think that the role players shoot as bad as they did in game 3. I'm taking over 219.
Jules, where are you going?
I lean to the under. The under was a popular play in Clippers and Suns game 5, and it did find its way over. That was one of those just kind of like Bucks and Nets that throughout the series, the teams get to know each other better and better. Guys are more dinged up. It's familiar matchups, and it just keeps going under and under, even with totals creeping down. So yeah, if Trae Young, if we're operating under the assumption, some of us, that Trae Young is not going to be healthy, it makes me lean to the under. But one other way that you can potentially look at this, I mean, you could go, if you think the Bucks are going to go off and Atlanta isn't, I mean, you probably just want to lay the 7 with the Bucks, but you could also go to the Atlanta Hawks team total under 105.5. If you look at their playoff games, in this series, 102, 91, they did hit the over in game 1. A lot of these game 1s have gone over, and then the familiarity starts to kick in, the adjustments. 103 in game 7 against Philly, 99 in game 6 against Philly, a slight over with 109 in game 5 against Philly, then 103. They've been, keeping it in the high 90s, low hundreds. And, again, got to see how healthy Young is. But one of the more telling things to me in that game wasn't necessarily even that he looked bad. You can do treatment and get better. But he was playing off the ball in that fourth quarter a lot, which, I mean, Trae Young always plays on the ball. He has the ball in his hands all the time. That's how the Hawks offense operates. So if he's dinged up enough, and again, he could be healthier, but if he's dinged up enough that he's not playing on the ball, that's a huge red flag for Atlanta. So I would say, outside of Bucks first quarter, which I will be playing, everything else I want to play live in this game, because I think we'll be able to tell, why gamble on Trae Young's health when we can just wait and see early. It'll probably be pretty evident, and then I'll feel a lot more comfortable, getting some money in on that game.